What's up, fiends? Lucard here with Patrick from Half Cheetah Review, pointing the right way. Yay!
Loving that intro. Loving that intro.
How's
Hello, everybody.
everybody doing tonight?
I think they're here for that 4-man tag team action that everybody's been talking about.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
right. Everybody's here for the debut of the BCPA, so give it up. See if anybody gets what that means. Don't say anything till the end of the show. We'll see if anybody gets it. I'm sure somebody will, especially some wrestling fans. But
yeah. Apparently, Casey heard that there's supposed to be a rave here today.
Oh, that's what I heard too.
Me too, man.
You know what? I'm ready to go to Camp Crystal Lake for my vacation. I hear it's a pretty hot spot this year.
Yeah, it's got a nice big lake, and
Hi, Jude. How are you feeling?
Hey, T. Betty. Let's see. Vanessa's here.
Vanessa's here, and T. Betty's here, and I'm sure we'll probably see. Hopefully, we'll see some other folks here. We got 8 people in here.
This is a good guess.
That's a pretty good guess, actually. The blood cloth something or another. That's not too bad, but
not quite.
Not quite. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm excited for this one. This movie was a lot of fun. I listened to it with the commentary on with Ken Kissinger and director Ronnie Yu and Robert Englund. Robert Englund is a hoot.
He's awesome, man. I love Robert Englund.
Yeah, he is. He has such joy in everything he does.
Yeah.
He's when he's doing the commentary, he sounds like a fanboy. He's marking out. It's like, you do know this is you playing these roles and you kicking this. Yeah, but isn't it awesome? It's like, yeah, I loved it.
So Star-Lord.
Hey, Star-Lord, how are you?
Yep, very cool. And speaking of Ken Kirzinger, this is a nice, lovely picture of him here.
Now,
this is the man that plays Jason in this particular film.
Yeah, he's big. He's like they said he's like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, he's huge. And that's why I think that's why they hired him for this movie.
Yeah,
he's so big. From what I hear, they wanted that height differential between Freddy and Jason. And Kane Hodder's only about 6'1", 6'2". So there wasn't that much of a difference, because I want to say Robert Englund's like 5'10" or so. So there wasn't that visually that much of a difference. So they wanted a bigger guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've gotten out of it.
Well, I think what's really interesting is they hired him. He's a well-known stuntman, but they told him that we're hiring you not as a stuntman, but as an actor, and he couldn't do a lot of the stunts they wanted. The infamous. There's 2 scenes in the movie that we'll cover that were just absolutely bonkers, but he wasn't allowed to do the stunt because he was talent. He was actor.
Ooh. Oh, I didn't know that. That's
cool.
That
was, and there's a couple of scenes too that are stunt. I mean, people probably think that it was just like a couple of dummies. Not so, and they were actually stuntmen, and we'll talk about that a little bit too. Jennifer Tochi's in the house, Mr. Bones. Welcome.
Yeah.
Bringing in the fastest wrench in the West.
Indeed.
Jennifer saying hi, Vanessa. Hi, Boney. Did you see Vanessa tear? Did you see Jennifer tear it up last night?
I saw a little bit of it. Yeah, sure did.
Yeah, that was a good show. That was a fun show.
Yeah, I'm actually go back and watch the whole thing because I didn't have time. But
that was a rare appearance by Trenchy in prime time.
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, Trenchy's operated over on overnights, but he was out there in the prime time last night.
Yeah.
That's right. And she's saying hello, Al the Bat. That's right.
Yes, I am the Bat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, let's see.
wow. So how would this movie rank going into it? How did this movie rank for you going into it and then coming out of it? Did you like it more or less than you did before you watched it?
I would say about the same, because I really enjoyed it the first time I saw it, and I really enjoyed it this time as well.
Yeah, I did too.
But I do have a funny story about the premiere of this movie. This movie came out when I was doing a lot of. I used to get a lot of what you call them? Not screeners, but early movie passes. Like before the movie come out.
Right.
And so I got this one. I was like, yes, So I went to the theater to go see it. This is the preview. They actually cut the movie off with about 6 minutes left. So we didn't see the ending. They were like, if you want to see who wins, you have to go to the theater and see it.
Man, that's crazy.
We were so pissed.
That would be wrong.
Man, I was so mad because it was it was awesome, and I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like, yeah, we're gonna, and then like they just cut it off, and I was like, wait, what's happening?
You know what they should have done? They should have showed, like, maybe they had like 10 screens. They should have showed Jason winning in 5 of them and Freddy winning in the other 5.
That's what Vanessa said.
Then releasing.
Yeah. Yep.
So you guys all come out and go like, yeah, I told you Jason was going to kick that ass. What movie were you watching? Because Freddy was absolutely destroyed. It was like, oh, that would be entertaining.
That's totally what they should have done. I think that would have been awesome. Yep.
Let's see.
The Bat and the Coffee.
No, I'm the cat. That's right.
The Bat and the Coffee. I kind of like that too. Especially for this movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you put the Bat. Yeah, I put we'll explain to you what the coffee means.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah. Once we do, you'll understand where it came from. Wow. That would have been truly an epic thing to do, but they probably were scared for the theaters. Like, the last thing we need is how like when the Warriors was released, there was all sorts of extracurricular activity during those showings. They probably didn't want to repeat that. Yeah. Vanessa saying, "Show your shirt, Al."
Yeah. Representing, baby.
That's right. There it is.
Even though the shirt's about 3 sizes too big, but whatever.
Yeah. Can I represent the Met cap? That's all I
got Crystal Lake on the dome. There you go.
Now they're saying show your boobs out of the car, but Mr. Bones see your boobs.
What do you think? Is Mardi Gras bones? Wrong time of year, man. You miss it by a couple months.
What? I have diarrhea? Okay. Just when I can't think it can't get any weirder with Jennifer Tochi, she out weirds herself. What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Jennifer? Oh my Lord, Butte, Montana. That's
I don't
know. You ever seen that movie called The Crazies?
Yes.
Butte, Montana, hands down. It's got to be Butte, Montana.
There you go.
Yes, but that has something to do with diarrhea. I don't know where you came up with that, Miss Jennifer Tochi. Oh my God! See, you know what happens? That's what happens when you have to. Maybe we'll give her coffee. Always give people diarrhea. Oh no, Jennifer.
It does give some people some problems.
Yeah, not me. No, I am totally immune. Coffee is my friend. Coffee is life.
Become friends with it.
Become friends with it. if I had a chance between saving somebody's life and saving a pot of coffee, don't put me in that position.
You never knew who's going to win.
Did you see that? Let's see. Star-Lord said Freddy versus Jason turned into Mortal Kombat.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, I got it.
Mortal Kombat. That's what I'm going to be watching for Dollar Tree Theater after this Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
thanks to everybody who voted. I got a lot of votes this time for that.
Mortal Kombat's awesome. At least the first one's awesome.
I know some people can't handle coffee though. You're right. Some people can't, whether because of, nervousness, the condition, medications and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I understand that there's some people that can't drink it. I feel bad for people like that because it's like the best thing ever. It's my favorite drink.
Well, speaking of coffee, we need to stay awake.
That's right. You know what?
Jason.
I think the best way for us to stay awake is you kick-starting us off.
All right. So I do want to start this off by saying, in my personal opinion, this is more of a Freddy movie than a Jason movie.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you. And I think basically it's because Freddy has personality and Jason does not.
Yeah, they kind of had to do it this way. Like, because the other way wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense.
That being said, though, I think they really sort of hurt the canon of the story, though. There's a lot of mistakes in it. I didn't, it's like, wow, I didn't get some of that. Some of the writing mistakes, I guess they had to do it to create their story. Yeah. But, it sort of hurts the Jason canon just a little bit, as far as that goes.
But then you could also say the same thing for Jason Goes to Hell, and like it just kind of messed stuff up.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the first 4 movies. Like after they established that Jason's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
Like Freddy bringing him back from hell, and then giving him emotions. That was just like, you can't give him emotions. He's dead.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's the beauty of him. He's dead. I never really ever thought Freddy as a dead person. I never saw him as being dead. I always, he's always supernatural, but he's always been alive. He's never died. So that's a difference. Freddy went from here down to hell, but he was still alive, so to speak. Whereas, Jason, they established that he died.
Yeah.
And Jason does not die. Clearly he just sleeps with one eye open.
Didn't have a chance of personality. That's funny.
Yeah, they did. They just gave him some personality, and I was like, if you're gonna go that far, then give him some lines. Let him. I would have been. I think that would have blew people's mind if they would have let him speak just one time. Like right at the end, at the end of the movie, that a key scene where he would have just said, "Fuck you." Or something
right.
Just and then it's like people's mind would have been
right.
What? That would have been epic.
Something, yeah, I agree. All right, so this movie came out in 2003. Okay, we start off basically with the sort of the origin story of Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn that for those that don't know who Freddy is, I guess this was necessary. But basically the children give him power, and he's a child murderer, and he was burned by the townsfolk of Springwood, and he's now basically this burnt up demon looking thing with knives for hands. That's the simplest way to put it. So that's the first couple minutes. It's kind of all of that stuff. And we learn that he's basically going to use Jason to make the kids of Springwood remember Freddy. So I remember when this storyline came out, it was kind of confusing because it was like, wait, so what?
Yeah.
But as the movie goes on, you kind of get it. But yeah, so basically he's going to use Jason as a weapon, and then all the kids are pretty much going to start thinking about Freddy again, and then Freddy's going to come back. That's the point, I guess.
You're right. It's very confusing because it's like on one hand, he's using the kids' nightmares as nightmare fuel, so to speak, right?
Right.
To power him up. So because he has no more power because the kids aren't remembering him. Okay, I get it. He's underpowered. He's weak in a weakened state or whatever. But okay, given that, how does he still have the power to regenerate Jason? That doesn't seem so. That does not seem to be a very not a necessarily simple thing to do. You would think that would take a lot of power to bring him back. But
I mean, like maybe that was all the power Freddy had, or something at the moment, and he couldn't manifest himself. Maybe I don't know. But well, no. The whole thing was. Well, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It really does. If you think about it, the power needed. I mean, look what's brought Jason back. If you think about it, look what's brought back Jason back from the dead. A lightning bolt, a girl's telekinetic powers, but we don't know, or it's just purely telekinetic, or they're tied in supernaturally because of her. Her dad came back. Mm-hmm. I mean, the people who brought Jason back, they had some abilities. They had abilities. And it wasn't just like, okay, I'm just going to say roll the dice and Jason pops up. They had to have some strength to do it. Right. So that's what I was just trying to. I saw that and I'm like, wow, if you could do that, then you should be able to go back and scare one kid, to get you jumpstart you,
Right.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's dive in, shall we? All right, so we get the Freddy opening, and then we suddenly go to Crystal Lake, and we get a girl skinny dipping. So we're starting off with a bang, right?
Yeah.
And so she gets stalked by Jason, of course, and she gets stabbed by the machete against a tree. So she's our first victim, and we now learn that Jason's actually dreaming all of this, and he sees Pamela Voorhees, played by a different actress, not Betsy Palmer. I think Betsy Palmer had already passed away by this time.
She might have.
So anyway, this Pamela is telling Jason that he has to go to Elm Street, and it's really Freddy, but so he's already working the magic of getting Elm Street into Jason's head. And let's see.
Now remember, I mean, and this is the other thing that was really sort of confusing too. Mm-hmm. Is Crystal Lake was in New Jersey, right?
Right.
In Springwood, if I'm not mistaken, it was established in the Midwest.
It is in Ohio. Yeah.
So again, how's Jason getting back to where, and how's that happening?
That's not a plot point that is necessary, Patrick.
Yeah, because it's like, well, it comes into play later into the movie, but you think about it, it's like, okay, because Jason's buried where? I mean, it looks like he's been buried. They woke him up from the dream. I don't mind. I'm not looking for a perfect script. I'm just looking for it to make sense. And if it had been established that I mean, I think Jason, last time we saw him alive, he was in New York City. I mean, the last incarnation we saw him was in New York City.
Well, no, you forgot Jason Goes to Hell.
Um, yeah.
With at the Voorhees house in Jersey.
Okay. So he dies. I mean, yeah, he gets killed there. I still would like to have seen some sort of, that would have been interesting to see how it went. Maybe if they would have had Freddy use the very last of his power to bring him from Jersey to there, like, okay, this is it, and then he's done. His tank is empty. I think they needed to show Freddy a little bit more like desperate, not a little bit more fun, but more desperate. Like, if this doesn't work, I'm being winked out of existence here.
Right.
I think there needed to be just a little bit more risk for Freddy. Like, why is he doing this?
Well, there didn't seem to be enough urgency in that.
No, yeah. I think that would have worked really well.
I definitely agree with that. So, all right. So then after Pamela tells Jason to go to Elm Street, we go to the real world and we meet the crew of the movie, basically. Let's see. I have a picture somewhere. All right. These are the girls that we meet. From left to right, we have Lori, played by Monica Keena, on the left. Gib, played by Catherine Isabel, in the middle. And Kia, played by Kelly Rowland of Destiny's Child, on the right. Now, and this is sort of a side note. Why did Kelly Rowland stop acting? She was really good in this.
She really was. I don't know why. I don't know.
Great.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, there was a time where they were, using some more music stars in roles like this.
Yeah.
They used like Ray J, Brandy Norwood. She did I Know What You Did last summer.
The second one. Yeah.
Who's the girl in the second Scream movie? They got killed on the front of the screen.
Oh, that was Jada Pinkett.
Oh, that Jada Pinkett. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if she was a singer or not.
Well,
yeah,
she is. She has a heavy metal band.
Okay, I'm
so
not
technically
sure.
She's a singer.
Catherine Isabel is a score queen. She's a big one.
Yeah, definitely.
LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes, and Halloween. Yeah. So it was not uncommon for stunt casting to include a pop star. So yeah, but you're right. She held her own. She held her own in this movie.
She really did. I enjoyed her performance quite a bit. So anyway, Kia, Kelly Rowland, she asked the girls if she needs a nose job. That line comes in handy for later. They are they're just kind of farting. The girls are just kind of farting around at the house. They're playing what is it, like marry, kill, whatever. And then these two guys come over, Blake and Trey. Yeah, Trey. I almost called him Troy. Blake and Trey come over. Apparently Trey is with Gib, and he's sort of like this real assholey type guy. And, so they kind of go off. They screw. The whole deal.
First they drink, then they smoke, then they have sex. That equals death.
Yeah, So I mean, buh. So all right. So then Gib goes to take a shower. So she's in the shower, and then all of a sudden, Jason shows up to Trey, who's laying in the bed, and he stabs him in through the bed, like he's done in other movies.
Yeah.
Then he takes it out. Then he takes the bed and folds it.
This is easily, not even without a second doubt, not even without a second thought. Definitely one of the top 5 kills.
Oh yeah, and it was brutal. Like it was like, whoa, damn, dude.
Dude, I mean, not only was he was like, it's like every time he was stabbing him, he was missing all the vital organs, because he was, every time he's sticking him, that guy was like, he was like he's feeling it. So you think, okay, no, well, thank God he's dead. And then Jason folds him up, and you still hear him, and he's not dead yet. I mean, he snapped him up, and he felt that. I mean, he died really, really hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Brutal.
definitely
Brutal.
top 5 kill, no question. All right, let's see. I am super behind on the chat. Let's see.
I'll catch this up. Katie's in here, and Cal Daly is in here. Our good friend Chadwick Whitmore pops in. All right. T. Betty's saying she loved that kill scene. I agree. Definitely one of the best. Folder kill. Let's see. We can't insult Kelly Rowland by comparing them to Busta Rhymes. I gotta say, I can't harsh on LL Cool J. He's actually pretty good. He's a pretty good actor. I can't harsh on him. Let's see. And Cal mentioned Catherine Isabel. That was interesting seeing her in that role. I mean, she was that was one of her early roles. She came in. She's already established sort of like a bad girl. As she was, she's wearing a baseball cap, she's smoking. Even her boyfriend didn't like that, which was interesting.
Yes.
She opens the door and he kisses her and goes like, "Oh, dude, what did I tell you about that?" That was sort of funny. So she established herself in this movie as and it's right. She's a legendary queen. She's done a lot. She did the Ginger Snap series. She also popped up in American Mary. Won a bunch of awards for that. So yeah, she's a solid actress. I wish she'd get more mainstream parts.
Yeah, me too. All right, so let's see. So of course, after the death, the gang all goes to the police station.
Oh, but we didn't cover. That's right. Gibb came out. Oh, because Gibb came out and spotted Jason. Then they all ran for their lives outside.
Yeah.
Jason. No, Jason. You know what though? I was thinking about that. I'm going, you know what? That was actually a really cool scene in the sense that it showed Jason was still trying to necessarily catch up. Sometimes it happens to him. Like he's not exactly like all awake, all there for his first kill. And normally you would think that he would have caught them both out, but he was a little sluggish. And so the girl was able to not only escape, but she actually grabbed a towel to cover herself and ran out the door.
Chad, do not go to sleep. It's a bad movie to go to sleep on. Sorry, I just kind of had to do that.
That's right. Don't fall asleep.
Don't fall asleep.
Hi, Jim. How are you, sir? Jim's Retro Emporium in the house.
He's up late. What's up, Jim?
Glad you're here.
Yeah. Always good to see you.
So you're right. They all run to the police station. Screaming.
Yeah. So they all run to the. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to bring up to our lead actress. Her name is Lori. Halloween, anybody? I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, but I think she spelled it differently.
Yeah, but it's still Lori.
That's true. Could have been a nod. It could have been a nod to that, to bring in Michael Myers into the mix.
I think so because of another name we're gonna come to later, and I'll explain. So all right, so they're all being kind of interviewed by the cops, say what's going on, but the cops are talking, and they mention that we don't want the kids to start thinking about Freddy, because if you start thinking about Freddy's going to come back, and Freddy's been dormant for a while here, supposedly. So Lori kind of puts her head down, and she kind of dozes off, and she wakes up and she remembers Freddy's name, and she was like, Freddy. And so Lori's dream sequence, she's in like this, I guess it's sort of like a hospital or something, and she sees this girl with her eyes poked out, and it's actually one of the like freakiest looking things in this movie, I thought, because this little girl, I guess she's about 10 or so, and she's just kind of walking around, she's blah 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 blah, that kind of thing, and she says that Freddy will come back, and then like, what did I say? Oh yeah, then Lori sees the jump ropers. Now, if you don't know who the jump ropers are, they are kind of like the warning that Freddy is near in all the Freddy movies. So she sees the jump ropers. Who's like, oh shit. But then she wakes up, and so now she has Freddy on the brain. Let's see. Echo's here. What's up, guy? All right. Let's see. Cal rewatched this movie 3 times last summer. Now I like it even more. Yeah, every time I watch it, I see something different. So I'm really digging it. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Let us know whose side are you on before we really start getting into this. Team Freddy or Team Jason?
That's right.
Yes. Would very much like to know, and I'll tell you mine later.
That's right.
All right, so let's see. So now we cut to Blake, which is one of the guys that that came to the part, that came to the house earlier. So this is the other guy. So he's sitting on his porch, and his dad is berating him about leaving his sister at the house, blah blah blah. And he's like, Dad, my freaking friend, my best friend's dead, blah blah blah, kind of thing. And let's see. And then Blake mentions that he heard it was some guy named Freddy that killed Trey. So now Blake falls asleep, and he is on this street, on this big street, and he sees this giant shadow of Freddy. And so the Freddy shadow kind of comes up to him and kind of takes a swipe at him, but it doesn't affect him. So Freddy's like, damn it, I'm not strong enough yet. Like, yeah, he said the name, but I'm not strong enough to do anything yet.
Yeah, he still was able to manifest himself, but he had no physicality. He couldn't do anything physical. He was still too weak for that.
All right, let's see. Everybody's voting here. Let's see. We got one for Jason. We got a Freddy. We should be tallying these.
Yeah, we should. What's that? Team Bat and Cats out there. What?
Team Bat Cat. There you go. Cat
right.
Bat Cat. Let's see. Echo says Jason. T Betty's Jason. Jim is Team Freddy. Hobbs, what's going on, Hobbs? Hobbs is Team Freddy.
Hobbs is Team Pumpkin. If I would have put that in there.
Let's see. Cal's Team Freddy. All right. Lots of love for Freddy. All right. The Tochi is for Freddy.
As long as Robert England's underneath the mask.
I'll talk about that later. Let's see. Star-Lord is a Jason fan. All right.
Yeah, you should be able to put a poll up, Al, on your side.
How
do
I would have to do that in YouTube though, right?
Let's see. Can I do it?
Let's see. Because I don't see it in see it in. Let's see.
I'll actually. I can find it. I know I've done it.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, there we go.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put a poll up, and everybody click on it and vote.
That's right.
Let's
Maybe we should put. Maybe we should put. Yeah, put the BCPA on there. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Got it up.
Wow, you're right. Woohoo!
All right. So let's see. Oh man, everybody else still voting. All right. All right. All right. Everybody. Freddy, Jason. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. I love how everybody's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Let's see what this is. All right. Oh, looks like it's half and half.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I will leave it up for a few minutes, and yeah. So go ahead, everybody vote. All right. So let's see. All right. So yeah, back to Blake. So so after Freddy misses him, basically, Blake wakes up, and his dad is sitting next to him on the porch.
Mm.
And his dad, let's just say he lost his head.
Holy crow!
Yeah.
That was a great effect.
It was. That was definitely one of the better effects in this movie, because this movie does suffer from a couple of cheesy effects.
Yeah.
But this one was pretty good. Yeah, his head just kind of slides off. It was all right. So then, of course, Jason appears all of a sudden and kills Blake as well. So now we have 4 down already. Oh, let's see. Love the nod to Dream Warriors with the Hypnosil reference. Yes.
Yes, from
we're just about to get to that.
Yeah.
That's the next scene. All right, let's see how this poll's doing here. All right.
All right. I think we're holding our own with the icons here.
All right. So we got Team Freddy at 50%. We have Team Jason 33%, and Team Batcat at 16%. Woo! Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting some love. All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. All right. So, all right. So the next scene, we go to Weston Hills. I don't know if it's institution, sanatorium, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, it's called Weston Hills.
Yep.
And we learn about this drug called Hypnosil, which basically is a drug that they're giving all the kids of the town because it suppresses dreams. Now, Freddy comes back through dreams. So they are suppressing for all of Freddy's power by using this Hypnosil. So that's kind of the trick that's going on right now. And that's why Freddy hasn't been able to come back.
Now, it's not every kid in the town. It's just every kid on Elm Street.
Yeah, right. So, but so this is keeping Freddy at bay. So now we meet Will and Mark, and they're in the institution, and they're getting their dose of Hypnosil because everybody in the place is getting their dose. And then Will sees the newscast of the house where Trey was killed earlier, which happens to be Lori's house. Will is Lori's ex-boyfriend. So he's like, hey, turn that up, blah, blah, blah. I got to see what's going on. I know that house. And then, of course, the jerk
hospital orderly.
Yeah, orderly. He just turns around, just turns it right off. So he's like, man, I got to know what's happening at the house. So by the way, the house's address is 1428 Elm Street. And if you know what that address is, that is the address where Nancy Thompson lived in part 1 of Nightmare on Elm Street, which was the first Freddy movie. So yeah, so this all of this crazy stuff is all happening in Springwood. This is full on Freddy territory.
Yeah,
boom.
He's got home field advantage so far.
For sure. Let's see. Let's see. Question: what would this Jason be based from the other movies? Well,
This is the
who
Jason.
knows?
This is Jason. No, see, this is what's confusing about it. In the chronological order, this movie is supposedly is taking place after a New Nightmare, Freddy's Dead, New Nightmare, and after Jason Goes to Hell.
Right.
So it doesn't explain how they got Jason's spirit back, because remember his body got totally blown to pieces. So it does never explains how his body, even though they show his body and it looks like to be ravaged by time, and Jason Goes to Hell, he literally there wasn't enough there to fill a thimble. So they didn't explain how or why, how that happened. I'm just thinking, you know what, they might have blown him to smithereens like that, but maybe he was slowly, because maybe it takes longer. Maybe he really was self-generating when Freddy saw him, and that's how far he got, because he still was tore up to hell in this movie. His whole abdomen was gone. He was just tore out. His whole body was torn up. Still, it's almost like he's dead, but he's still regenerating. Um,
Right.
so
Right.
it makes like I said, there are a couple of plot points that are pretty big that do miss their mark. Like you have to explain. You should have explained that. Like again, it's like that. Freddy goes looking for Jason, and he sees Jason, and that all that's left of Jason's in a little, Ziploc bag. Then he needed to like spend whatever power he had of his life force to, to get Jason up and running. But then again, it goes back to how much power does he still have to do something as big as that? Because if he could do that, then why can't he go out there and scare one kid? It's like Monsters Inc. If you think about it, right? It's the
Mm-hmm.
same premise. The monsters go around and make the kids scream, and that gives their energy. That strengthens them. All Freddy doesn't need 500 kids to do that. He just needs the one.
Right.
He just needs the one. So yeah, it's just for a deep dive. Yeah, I mean, for just a casual view, I don't think about that. But for what we're doing here, I do think about that. It's like, how does this make sense? Because I love the idea of them fighting, but I want it to make sense. I want it to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be like like a video game. Like, we'll put him here, and press the button. It's like, that's no fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But let's see. So, uh, so, all right. So yeah. So Will sees the thing on the TV, and so he needs to leave. He wants to leave the institution and go see what's going on and go help Lori. Do whatever. So his friend Mark, uh, all of a sudden starts acting crazy, and he starts making monkey sounds. He's beating on the walls, blah blah blah, and he does all this to be able to grab the keys from the orderly. So basically, they escape. Mark's kind of beat up and stuff, right, from the orderlies and the guards and stuff, and yeah. So I thought that was kind of funny. Let's see. I really need a better handwriting.
you're doing
Man,
good. You're doing good.
man, oh man. All right. So now we cut to Lori back at her house. Her dad tries to give her um, a glass of OJ laced with Hypnosil,
Right.
but she doesn't take it, and she ends up going to school. So
I'm going to touch on one thing because I did see this and it's true. There was a slightly creepy scene in there when the dad and Lori were talking, and you could tell they were at that time, they were close, but they're standing in Lori's room and they were talking about, he was trying to get her to drink the orange juice, and she really was, they were talking at first. Did you see that kiss that they had?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not exactly what I would call a daughter and a father kiss. It was slightly creepy, and they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
That was
Oh yeah.
that was written into the story, and it was a little creepy.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Definitely. I
I think
agree.
it helped to make the dad, because we find out that the dad is not the all American dad.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Let's see. Yeah, I think New Nightmare is kind of its own thing. I think. Let's see. Freddy's using his style more than Jason. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is definitely. I think this is definitely more of a Freddy movie. Uh, Definitely. Let's see.
June picked that up as well. Daddy was plenty creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah. Definitely. Let's see. His strength is true to character. This has been a thing since first movie. When he was strong enough from one to be effective to kill, but the more fear and people he scares, the stronger he is. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. Thanks, Oz. Let's see. It'd be interesting if this was after Dream Warriors on the Freddy timeline. Well, no, they showed clips from. I think they
Yeah,
showed clips from Dream Child. I'm not sure if they showed any from Freddy's Dead in the in
yep,
the in an earlier montage. I definitely know Dream Child was up in there, which was 5.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, they have that. I've read that on a couple of the fanboy sites, at the timeline, which actually doesn't really make sense altogether. I mean, because it doesn't really make sense. Jason Goes to Hell, because he was so badly. I mean, I would sit there and say, I would dare say that this happened before Jason went to hell, if anything, because he got blown up so awful in the beginning of Jason Goes to Hell. I don't see how he could have regenerated, in the timeline.
yeah.
But
All right. So Lori's back at school now. She meets up with her friends. Um, Everybody learns about Blake's death now, and Lori mentions Freddy to the whole group. So like, oh shit. So and then a bunch of other kids hear the name Freddy too, not just them. Like a bunch of people hear the word Freddy. So Mark, the one that got beat up to escape, he shows up in the hallways, and he kind of does his best Harbinger of Doom imitation here, and
right,
and and he kind of warns them all about Freddy, the whole deal, and he tells Lori about Freddy, and then Will shows up at, on the other end of the hallway, and so let's see, let's see. So Will comes up to Lori, and then Lori passes out, and so Lori is now in like the nurse's office at the school. Key is there in like the waiting room, waiting for a friend, and she's looking at all these magazines and stuff, and uh, she gets like this plastic surgeon magazine or something. Like,
hmm
okay, why? Unless she had this already, like, why would this be out of school? I guess she had it and she was looking at it. So she's looking at it, and remember earlier she mentioned about something about a nose job. So she doesn't like her nose. So that's a big thing with this movie. And so she's looking at it, and then all the pages start getting grosser and more explicit, and all slashed up, kind of like a slasher movie. And so of course now we know she's dreaming. And then in I think one of the worst CG moments of the movie,
Oh yeah,
all of a sudden Freddy's glove pops out of the magazine and grabs her nose like this and flicks her nose off of her face. And so she basically turns into Voldemort at this point in the in the dream. And yeah, it looks pretty bad. Like it's definitely late '90s, early 2000s graphics. um, but she wakes up like immediately. So Freddy still doesn't have enough power to actually make the dreams, make the dreams a reality like he normally does. So let's see. So now, and Will and Mark now run off to the local library, and
they want to research what happened.
So Mark is going through all the microfiche stuff, and a bunch of names are blocked out. They're blacked out. They're like retconned. You know what I mean? And then he's like, dude, even my brother's suicide is not even mentioned in the paper. Like, what the hell? So we learn that Mark's brother committed suicide.
Right.
Or so we think. So now we cut to the big rave scene in this cornfield in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that was after Freddy's. He needed more power, so he needed to, he needed Jason to. Well, he was close. He was getting real close. He still needed just a little bit more. And then so Freddy also is heading to the rave. They all can converge on that point. The big rave going on. We see the kids out there partying, and we see you're gonna say Jason's heading over there, and then Freddy. So this is the first time that we're all gonna see everybody all together, basically in just one area.
Yeah. So literally everybody's going to this rave. Like every kid at the school is going to this damn rave. So of course, who ends up showing up? Of course, our boy Jason.
Right.
Let's see.
Well, before that happened, so this was important. Gibbs is there, and by this time, a lot of the kids are starting to run out of energy. They can't stay awake, and so Gibbs, she lays down and she goes to sleep, and so as she's sleeping, and then Freddy comes and gets her and takes her down to the boiler room. Now that's reminiscence from the very first movie, because that's how we met. That's how we met Amanda Weiss. Her character met in the boiler room. That boiler room was built for that scene. It was not a we found it on location. They built that boiler room.
Oh, nice.
And so Gibbs is down there, and here comes Freddy. He's taunting her, and you could definitely see he's starting to get stronger now. And in fact, so much so he's starting to toy with her a little bit, playing with his food, so to speak. Well, while he's doing this, he loses focus. He gets target fixated on Gibb and doesn't realize that Jason's there. And so right when and while this is happening, Gibbs is out flat on her back. She's unconscious. And then some slime comes over there and wants to do a little bit of creepiness all his own. I was really happy he bought the farm. But he's kissed up on an unconscious girl, and Freddy's just about ready to end it. And then Jason comes and kills them both, including Gibb, which causes Freddy to lose that power he needs. And it really rankles him. He pisses him off because, it's like, that was my kill. And so that really sort of ignites the feud is ignited. Now Freddy's strong enough. And the thing is, so it's like, but for Freddy, it's like he opened Pandora's box. He's like, I'm going to go get something to help me. That's great. But what happens when you need to put it away? It's not going to be so easy. You're not going to be able to get rid of it so quick. And so and Jason's, he's just motoring along. He's starting to he's here. There's a lot of people here. He's got a machete in his hand. He's a happy camper, literally. So Freddy's down in the spirit world. And he's like, well, this is messed up. It's like I had my dinner right in front of me and it got yanked. So they go back to the rave, and that was some good action at the rave, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I like when Jason gets set on fire.
Now that's one of the two scenes I was going to mention is that Ken Kissinger, who was a stuntman, normally he would have did that scene himself, but unfortunately, or fortunately, but he was hired as an actor. He he was not a stunt person. He was an actor in this movie, so he could not do that role. He could not do that stunt. They weren't allowed to do that. So he went ahead and he had to step aside and let his friend do the stunt. And him and his friend were actually up for the part of Jason, and they had made an agreement like, hey, if you get the part, I'll stunt for you. And if you get the part, or if I get the a stunt, you stunt for me. So him and his friend, that's how they approached it when they went to the audition. Kim won the part, and he took his friend with him. So his friend did that stunt, and that was a very long stunt. That was a very long fire.
It was.
That was yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We should do. We're definitely gonna do that for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Hi, Jamie.
Hello. Let's see, did they fight at the camp? No,
No.
not yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah. So let's see. You kind of
You
covered
know,
most of that.
the scene we're talking about. We gotta acknowledge this because this is actually, if you really think about it, it was pretty badass. Um, so when Jason came up to those two kids that were sitting there smoking, right? And they sat there and they started jacking, they're mouthing off to him, and then Jason's, basically, turned that guy's head around, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was a nasty one too. And it reminded me of Invincible. Uh, but but the other kid there, he didn't run. He didn't. He
No.
didn't. He's like you would think that he would have saw his friend die like that and ran for his life. Would have pooped his pants and ran for his life. But he took it to Jason, and yeah, he torched his ass.
Yeah.
And I have to give him credit though. Then he went to try to warn everybody, and he did get a machete for his trouble. But the fact that he went up there and torched Jason like that um, was pretty cool. And again, it goes back down to after the fight was over, because you got to think about this. That Jason still, he's still regenerating per se. We don't know what percentage he's at, but whatever percentage he was at, it would have been siphoned off by that fire. That fire was not a 5 second shot. He was cooking. You think that would have weakened him a little bit?
You would think, yeah. Yeah. But let's see.
Maybe make it easier for Freddy to reassert control over him.
Maybe so. I also like the flying machete, the flaming flying machete. I thought that was a cool little effect. But yeah, Jason, man, even though he's on fire, whatever, he does not care. He just starts slashing everybody. It's great, and he actually gets put out by he does a machete slash to like a keg of beer, and the beer puts him out.
Yeah, yeah. That was pretty funny.
I thought, yeah, that was clever. I thought that was pretty funny. So Jason's all full of beer.
Yeah,
And then he just kind of turns around and just starts whacking all of them. I see. I know of at least 6 that he kills on screen before it cuts. I'm sure there's probably more, but there's at least 6 that he boom that you see right away. Yeah. And then during all the chaos, Lori is running and she sees Gibbs' body laying there dead.
Yeah.
So now she knows Gibb is dead. So all of our little crew regroup at in what's his face's van, in Will's van, and they're like, "Was that Freddy guy that you were talking about?" And they're like, "No, that's not Freddy. This is some different dude." And then the stoner guy, whose name I think is Freeberg,
Right.
has one of the best lines in the entire franchise, actually, in my personal opinion. And wait, somebody said it earlier. I'm trying to find it. Here we go. Dude, that goalie was pissed off about something. That's the best. I'm sorry. That's the best line. And the way he delivers it is perfect. Absolutely perfect. And yeah. So I definitely wanted to highlight that line. Thank you, Cal. But then, okay, so they're driving, and did you notice something? Did you notice the weather?
Getting stormy.
It is now pouring down raining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like all the other Fridays.
Everyone.
So somebody was paying attention.
Yes.
To something, at least. So let's see. So Will now tells Lori that okay, so they drop off a couple of the kids, so now it's just Lori and Will. And Will tells Lori that the reason he was institutionalized was that he saw her dad kill her mom, and the dad had him committed to Weston Hills, where we learn that he is a doctor at Weston Hills. So it's like, ooh, look at this shit. All right. So, so she goes back into the house. Dad is there, of course.
Right.
And Dad immediately tries to give her Hypnocil.
Right. He has a nice big glass of orange juice.
Yep, getting ready. He's like, "Here, drink this, damn it!" Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. And then she was like, "Well, what the frig, Dad?" Blah blah blah. You know. And does she mention? I don't think she mentions it here. Not that I recall. About him killing the mom. I don't think she mentions it here. Not that I remember.
But she's not going to drink anything that he's given her.
Oh no, definitely not.
No, he's like, nope, not doing that.
So then she runs up to her room, and she basically escapes the room. She goes down. She jumps out the window. She goes back down. And she meets back up with Will.
Good scene though, where she's hiding behind the tree, and her dad's on the looking out through her window.
That was a very nice shot.
That was a very effective shot. I really liked that. I thought it was
I agree.
Sort of Hitchcock like.
Yeah, very much so. So now we cut to Mark. So Mark is apparently back at home, I assume. And he unfortunately falls asleep. So Freddy basically traps him in this bathroom, and all of a sudden the tub fills up with blood, and he sees his brother, who committed suicide, kind of pop out of the tub.
Yeah.
And so this, of course, freaks him out. And of course it's Freddy. So Freddy basically just starts slashing.
Yeah.
He has a big old, the claw marks across the face, the whole deal.
Yeah, he's definitely back.
Oh yeah, he's back. He's back with full power now. So and to emphasize this,
yeah,
he was like, well, you're gonna die, so I need to do something to let everyone know that I'm back. So basically, he sets Mark's back on fire and burns into him the words "Freddy's back."
That's Freddy's back that he just got done messing up.
Right. Yeah. Freddy's back on the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I thought that was actually a pretty cool scene and pretty cool death too.
Definitely.
Betty says they wasted the beer. Yeah, kegs of beer only cause trouble.
Well, yeah,
Sometimes.
yeah. Kegs of beer only cause trouble. Well, not yeah. Well, it might have been light beer.
Could have been. Could have been. That's probably why it tamped out the fire instead of
Right. No alcohol in it. No
elevated
alcohol. Yeah.
it. Yeah. All right. So let's see where we're at. All right. So now we meet Deputy Stubbs.
Yes. The mighty Lachlan Monroe.
Yes.
One of my favorite one of my favorite actors, actually.
He's another one I think is vastly underrated.
Very underrated.
100%. However,
he,
his part's kind of small in this one though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's one of his earlier roles.
Yeah, true. So we meet Deputy Stubbs. He's kind of like the young new deputy, kind of thing. So he's very gung ho and very,
He's doing investigation about the kids, and his chief doesn't want to hear about it.
Yes, Cal just brought up fun fact: the guy that plays Mark, let's see, Brendan Fletcher is his name. Who's another underrated actor? There's a lot of underrated actors in this movie. And Catherine Isabel are in Ginger Snaps 1 and 2. That's right. That is correct. And they're both Canadian as well. Which this movie was filmed in Vancouver.
like Lachlan Monroe is a Canadian.
Is he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes,
okay, that makes more sense.
See? Fun facts here.
Boom. So so he thinks that there's a Jason copycat killer going around. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I'm like, well, that's an interesting concept. If for like a future movie. So anyway, he ends up meeting up with
though?
What?
They already did that though. Friday 13-5.
Yeah, they did, but I want one with a copycat killer with Jason as well.
Ooh, right.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it'd be sort of like two Jasons. You know what I mean?
Coast to coast Jasons.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. North or south?
Yeah. They can have one. Well, I don't know. Jason wouldn't last.
We can't go. We can't say coast to coast, Jason, because that would be trademark infringement from the coast to coast stream. So if we go north and south,
yeah, north and south. There you go. I don't know if Jason could take the humidity down here.
What if we call it the Jason zone?
Jason zone. Yeah, there you go.
Throw it out there.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, put Jason in Texas. He can fight Leatherface, right?
That's right.
All right, so Deputy Stubbs ends up meeting up with the kids, and he kind of tells the Jason story to them. So now they're kind of informed about who Jason is, what the hell's going on, and they now this is. Okay, so two things. One, Lori realizes that Freddy died by fire and Jason died by water. And she's like, how can we use this? Lori dozes off. She sees Freddy. She grabs Freddy's earlobe and hangs on to it. So she gets woken up, and she wakes up with his ear in her hand. So now they know what Nancy knew in the first one. If something happens in the dream, it becomes reality kind of thing, and you can grab things out and you can bring them back. That's basically how Nancy got rid of Freddy in the first movie.
Right.
So they also learn in this scene, about what Hypnosil does. It suppresses dreams. And the problem that I have with this particular scene is that everything, and now this just may be a personal opinion, I don't know, but everything in this scene just seems to, they just seem to realize everything way too quickly. Like everything.
Yeah, everything.
Like they just figure it all out. Like in this one scene, this little 4-minute scene, they figure it all out. They're like, all right, so Freddy's bringing Jason back. We gotta do this. They just figure it all out right here in this one little scene.
There's only one group of teenagers that can do that. There's only one, and they ain't it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, they're all.
you guys, we all know who we're talking about, right? There's only
Yeah.
one group that could figure that out in 4 minutes, and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't them.
Yeah. Right. So anyway,
Zoinks!
where's my glasses?
Hey, can I have a snoop? Can I have a snack?
Let's see. What if he chopped his head off and it would say Freddy's ahead? Yeah, Freddy's ahead. Yeah, why not?
But as I
Jason.
said, we went to the library and looked in the microfilm section. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
it
they
could have
did.
been.
That's an inside joke between us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because we both work at libraries. So I'm just saying.
Ooh, yeah.
So all right. So let's see. So they all decide that they need to go to Weston Hills, basically to steal all of the hypnosil. Because if yeah. So anyway, so Jason, of course, gets to Weston Hills, and the poor guard just gets a door, this heavy ass door, just completely crushed on him.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. So we got Kia, Lori, and Will. They go into what's called D wing of this of the institution, and this is where all the kids that keep dreaming are put. So they're all laying there. They got their eyes covered with this weird. I don't even
And
know
they're all
what it
strapped.
is.
Yeah, they're all strapped
And
in.
they're
They
all
all
strapped
have goggles.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've kept all these kids away from everybody else, and it's a freaky looking. And there's a bunch of them. Like there's like 30 of them in this little room. Like there's
I mean, it makes you wonder how big. How big was Elm Street? It was a pretty big street, I guess.
Elm Street must be like freaking like Main Street or something everywhere. I don't know.
It must be. I saw how many kids were sitting all strapped up. I'm like, Jesus Christ! You think with if they were so scared of that happening, one, they would have moved the hell off the block. You know,
Mhm.
that's where Freddy's power is on Elm Street. It really is. That's where it is. It's like he's not attacking anybody else on any other street. He's only attacking on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, you couldn't, in theory, you couldn't put an entire town's kids underneath, that massive. I mean, that's just too. That goes into science fiction. That would go into science fiction. Um,
Oh yeah.
but it's just like, and you think of the parents, it's like, okay, like, these kids, like how old were these kids when they got there? Did they move onto the street and were they immediately affected? Uh, and it's like, oh, it's just there's a lot of questions you would have to ask. Like, were the parents always there on Elm Street, and then they had those kids, and because to me it's like as soon as you moved onto the street, let's say you're new and you roll in there and you have like two teenagers or two preteens, and then you hear all about what's going on at Elm Street, because I'm sure they all talked among themselves. Now, if you said, well, the hell with that, I'm out of here, if he left, does that mean Freddie leaves you alone? I mean, or why would you start a family on Elm Street knowing that Freddie was always going to be a specter, just like he was in this movie, even though he hadn't been seen for many years, he still his presence still was a specter. They still thought about it. They still everything they did, all their actions were predicated on the fact that Freddy Krueger was always behind it all. It's just a couple more questions. It's like, wow, because they had so many kids strapped down. They had like what, about 20, 30?
Oh yeah. At
Yeah,
least.
a
At least.
lot.
And like my mom said, it kind of looked like a morgue.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So actually, Casey and Cal bring up a good point. Yeah, in Freddy's Dead, he actually kills the whole town, not just Elm Street. And I mean, I know this is not like a Freddy thing. This is more of a Jason thing that we're doing. But in I believe it's Freddy. I think it's in Freddy's Dead. Um, I remember the promo for it. It was like a different street or something, and then all of a sudden he pops up, and he pops up with a street sign, and it pops up and it says Elm Street, and he's like, every street is an Elm Street. So I don't know. So anyway, let's see. So now we cut to Freeberg, who is the stoner dude, and he starts smoking.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this Freddy slug, that's what I call him, the Freddy slug, shows up.
Yeah.
I wish I had a picture. I don't have a picture.
Oh my god, he looked like a really bad extra from Evil Bong.
Yes, very much so, which is very appropriate for this scene.
Yes.
So the Freddy slug starts smoking with Freeberg, and he blows smoke into Freeberg's face.
Right.
And so Freeberg ends up in the D wing with everybody else, like, and all the patients are now up, like sitting up in their beds, and they all turn at like one time, and they're all looking at Freeberg, and this is another one of those like freaky looking scenes that was really well done and really freaky. So let's see. So the Freddy slug basically jumps into Freeberg's body. So now basically Freeberg is possessed by Freddy. Not in the same way Jason possessed people in Jason Goes to Hell. This is a little different.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So Jason, of course, appears because he's there. He just killed the guard, and he swings his machete, and he hits like this control box or something. So he starts getting electrocuted. He's like, he's shaking, the whole deal. And Deputy Stubbs kind of whizzes past him, but he grabs him, so Stubbs gets electrocuted. So Lachlan Monroe's gone. That's Lachlan Monroe's done.
But he went out. But you know what? I'm sorry, but you know what? I don't believe that. I still think he's going to come back in whatever movie they bring back. In fact, I'm starting the Stubbs train tonight.
There you go. Stubbs train, baby.
Stubbs train, baby. He didn't die. I mean, just because he got electrocuted doesn't mean anything. Let's bring it on. Let's bring on the Stubbs train.
Yeah, baby. Why not? So possessed Freeberg basically flushes all the hypnosil down the drain.
Right.
And then he loads two vials full of tranquilizer juice. Okay. So Jason kind of comes up to him. There's kind of a face off, and he takes the two vials and he just goes like right into Jason. So Jason at this point, Jason has enough power to take his machete and basically cut Freeberg in half, like at the waist, like full on, and then Jason passes out from the tranks.
Yeah, and again, I honestly, that was too big of a plot hole for me. Honestly, that was just like, I know they had to do it, why they did it, but it was like, wow, that makes absolutely zero sense at all. Yeah. Jason is dead. He's not going to be knocked out by tranquilizers. He's dead. He's dead. he just survived being electrocuted. He's electrocuted. He's it's like so he's telling me he can take a building's power shot. He could be electrocuted, but two little syringes full of shit is going to knock him out. Yeah, I was just like, I like it just a little bit, making it just a little bit more sense. Hey, Tristan,
they had to do something, right?
I guess, but that was sort of silly.
It was. Let's see.
We got to look at looks like Tristan's already saying on the Stubbs train. And Casey's saying Gibbs.
The Gibbs train. Yeah.
All aboard all aboard the sub. Yep. Oh, yeah, she might have not died. She might, yeah, great show last night, Tristan, by the way. I hope you do it again soon. Really good show last night. Go ahead.
All right. So so Freeberg's cut in half. Jason is out for now. So then we cut to Jason's dream, and he is now in Freddy's boiler room.
Mm-hmm.
And he dreams about Pamela basically bitching at him. He was like, why, this whole thing. But of course, it's Freddy. And so this is kind of the first part of the fight. And so this is, remember, this is in Freddy's world. So this is in the dream world. This is not real. So the fight starts off, and Jason cuts off Freddy's arms, both of them. Which I thought was a fairly bloody scene. It was actually blood squirting out. Yeah, it was pretty good looking. And of course, this is Freddy world, so Freddy just grows him right back, boom, And so then Freddy, like, it's hard to explain, but he kind of whips Jason around the boiler room. He just
how about after he cut off his arms? How about he just sat there? He's looking at Jason. He's looking at his arms, and then he goes like this. He goes, and all of a sudden his arms pop back out. That was actually pretty funny. I laughed at that.
Yeah, and it's very very Freddy, like so Freddy. But so Freddy basically throws Jason around like mentally. Like Freddy's not even physically doing it, but he's throwing him around. He's busting up against all the walls, all the pipes, everything in the boiler room. And then he drops.
Sort of like Tina did with him in New Blood. He's telekinetic.
Yeah, pretty much. And then he throws this large, I don't even know what it looks like, a giant bell. And it's ginormous. It's like the size of a building. And he drops this thing on top of Jason. And of course, Jason's still going. So Jason just kind of gets back up, and then Freddy's like, "Why won't you die?"
Yeah.
And then there's a leak or something in one of the pipes from all the bashing around, and Jason kind of like freezes, and he was like, you are afraid of something. So in this movie, Jason is afraid of the water. We're
not making that up. We're not making that up because of those who are new to this movie. Yes, even though Jason lived underwater for 5 years, even though he took a boat to Manhattan, even though he was swimming in the water, made several kills coming from the water. But yet, in this movie, he's afraid of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, sure. We're this far, sure. What the hell?
Yeah,
right?
we're deep in the weeds now.
Yeah. So screw it. Whatever. So now we learn about what the kids are doing. The kids are bringing Jason's body back to Crystal Lake. Now,
Ohio to New Jersey.
Yeah, yes. Someone do a map quest for me from Ohio to New Jersey. Tell me how long of a drive that is. I'd love to know.
Hobbs is on that. He's on, or Mr. Bones is on that because they're both Ohio boys.
Yeah. One of you guys, let us know how long it takes y'all to get to Jersey.
Yeah.
So that's their big plan. They're going to bring Jason back to Crystal Lake. So Jason's on home turf, and they're going to basically bring Freddy out of the dream world into the real world, just like Nancy did in part 1. So
and then Jason loose on him.
Yeah, and then let Jason just freaking wail on him. So it's like, all right, so they're going to make this Freddy versus Jason.
Mm-hmm. One way or the other.
One way. That's right. So Lori has decided that it's going to be her that's going to do it because she's the one that grabbed the ear. So she was like, I know what to do, kind of thing. So she goes to sleep in the van. They're still on the way to Crystal Lake. So she goes to sleep. She lies next to Jason, because Jason's in the van with them, like sleeping, and they keep filling him up with the tranquilizer so he doesn't wake up yet. I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, she lays next to Jason, and she's little bitty. She's this little bitty thing, and this dude's 6'7". So that visual of her laying next to him, I thought was really interesting.
Well, how about after the fight though, where it looks like Jason's drowning? He's drowning.
So after the Dream World fight that we were just talking about with him getting thrown around the bell, the whole deal, Jason starts like water starts coming out of Jason's orifices, like his mouth and his eyes and his ears and stuff, and they were like, oh crap, he must be Freddy must be drowning him or something, right? Because he's dreaming. That was a pretty little interesting effect too, and there was a point where Kia was about to do mouth to mouth onto Jason.
Yeah.
So they lift the mask just enough, and she's like going in. She's very reluctant now, of course. And I don't. Did he wake? I don't remember what happened. Did he wake up?
No, he didn't wake up. Not then. But
yeah, not yet.
Yeah, he on that scene right there. Kelly Rowland had to do that scene, and Ken Kirzinger was always, moving. And then Ronnie Yu told him that what I want you to do is every time she gets close to you, because he was holding water, he says every time she gets close to your mouth, I want you to spurt a little water out of your mouth, bubble it out. So that scene took forever to make, because every time she would see that, she would freak out.
Yeah. All right. So at least a 9-hour drive.
9 to 10 hour drive.
Yep. There you go. 3 restroom breaks. To 10 hours. About 10. Yeah, 9 to 10 hours. There you go. Bam.
594 miles plus 3 restroom breaks would take 10 hours, 5 minutes to Jersey from Springwood. That's coming from Ohio Hobbs.
Yep. There you go. Bam. So then we go into Jason's dream, and we see young Jason being bullied, and one of the most interesting things, and I think a lot of people miss this too. They put a bag over his head in the scene, kind of like the way he looked in part 2. With the bag over his head with the one eye.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's very short. It's very it's very. If you blink, you miss it. But they actually do put a bag over Jason's head.
Right.
I thought that was really interesting. Definitely some stuff to come. So let's see. All right. So then Freddy grabs little Jason and basically puts him in the water. And this is when Jason starts coughing up all the water in the van and stuff. And Jason, then the van, all of a sudden it crashes, like they do in these movies. And of course, Jason's body gets flung out, way out. And of course, this wakes Jason up naturally.
Right.
But they're near Crystal Lake, so I guess the 10-hour drive has commenced, and they are now at Crystal Lake. So all the kids that are still left, they go to one of the cabins at Crystal Lake. Jason, of course, attacks and gets his machete stuck, and the cabin catches on fire.
And they're trying to wake up Lori at the same time.
Yeah. Lori's still asleep, so she's like, it's really kind of crazy, chaotic. All this stuff's happening all at once, and so Lori is fighting, is grabbing onto Freddy in the dream world, and they're having trouble getting her to wake up. So they're kind of dragging Lori through the cabin, and Lori's hand goes through a part of the fire. So
that was actually really clever that he did that. If you think about it, I mean,
that was
he's like, he couldn't get her up. He says, "Well, this is my last resort." He put her hand in the fire to wake her up.
Yeah, so that wakes her up, and of course she was holding on to Freddy at this point. So Freddy is now at Camp Crystal Lake.
Freddy had a really bad habit of playing with his victims, and that's what got him for this movie. If he just would have took care of business, he wouldn't have been put in that position. But he likes to gloat and tease. He basically likes to monologue. And if you've ever seen The Incredibles, you know that when you monologue, bad things will happen to you if you're a bad guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much. So they wake up Lori, they bring Freddy into it, and when Jason sees Freddy, oh, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Yes. In fact, let me see. Bam. There you go.
That's right.
Yeah. So now they're finally face to face in the real world, at Camp Crystal Lake. Yeah. So that's that's one of those iconic shots too, with them kind of. This is like the big stare down, right? That everybody's been waiting for.
You can see how you can see, if you go back to that picture, you can see the stance that Kirsinger took. His feet are wide, which makes him appear a little shorter, and he's bent over. I mean, he's really bent over. He almost looks like he's about ready to squeeze off a deuce in that shot.
It does.
Just saying.
Indeed.
Nightmare in Camp Crystal Lake. Jason poops his pants. I don't know.
That's the sequel.
or Smelko.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and they start tossing. They start getting after it.
Indeed. You would you like to walk us through the fight?
Yeah, I like the fight. The fight was really well done. Really, it
really was.
It really was. And I know a lot of people think that Freddy, got the upper hand on him, and for a while it really did. I mean, at first he just starts wailing on him, and then the key battle the scene was where he dumped the whole bunch of rebar on him, and he pinned him there. And again, Freddy tries to finish it by rolling down this huge like a car, sand or something, and it gets stuck. So, and it shows Freddy does have limited physical strength in this plane. He still has superhuman strength, but it's tempered. He's not as strong as he is in the spiritual.
Right.
Whereas Jason, him being undead and all that, he could take that. He gets ventilated by the rebar, and he does get his ass kicked. I mean, for the most part of this movie, I mean, this as far as a physical fight, this is the worst that Jason's gotten, by for sure. I mean, for a physical fight. I mean, the scene he had in Jason X, I wouldn't call that a physical fight. That was just an advanced gun. But as far as man to man, being to being, yeah, this was just definitely got rocked and rolled here. But since he is dead and he is immortal, and he's still able to fight, and that's what happens. Even though he's being tossed around in the big old heavy, the big piece of machinery keeps on bouncing off the walls and hitting Jason and causing the rebar to make him bleed. I mean, if you notice, he didn't bleed blood. He leaked out water.
Yes. Which
not blood.
Which that makes more sense. Makes more sense than anything, and that should have been in the other movies.
Yeah, it really, you're right. It really should have. It would have been. It really would have been right for him to, every time he got hit, he would basically bleed out water.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes. When they start fighting, and then Jason does grab Freddy, and he does a scene reminiscent from Fist of Legend, and he takes him from he takes him from post to post through the windows. That's a great looking effect. Not going to hurt Freddy, but it was a great looking effect. So they're brawling. I mean, they're fighting, and oh boy.
Oh.
Bones, you there?
Yay. Let's see. I can pull it up. Oh wait, I can do it on here, I think. Oh, our friends.
I got it. Where's Bones?
I don't know.
Oh.
Let's see. All right. All right. I think we got him. All right, Tinder X.
Yep.
You son of a gun.
Oh. Okay, that's probably going to happen again. So if
yeah,
you
and
guys
that's for
have
somebody. Just
go
pay
ahead and
attention
jump on that.
if you can.
Yeah. The Night Watch Zone got hit for the first time the other night by a ton of that shit. It was terrible. It's like I'd never seen it before happen to them so bad. It only happens during the live streams though.
Yeah.
So they're fighting.
Huh? I've gotten some on my recorded ones too.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Yeah, occasionally.
Occasionally.
Yep.
So they fight. And while they're fighting, I mean, it's really looking at the fight. If you really look at it, you're like, I know a lot of people looked at it like, yeah, you get him. But actually, if you really think about it, you're not really rooting for anybody because they're both just really horrible creatures. And while they're fighting, who was it? Not. Oh gosh, let me go see who it was.
Kia?
Well, no, she dies after she dies.
Well, she dies during the fight.
She does. So does the other. So does Linderman. Linderman dies too. Remember, he gets impaled on that
little spike thing.
Yeah, and then he bleeds out.
Yeah.
And she runs to go gets help, and then she dies. So that's only then there are only two. So
I do want to talk about Kia's death for a second.
Sure.
So Kia, here you go, Kelly Rowland. She can, like, in the middle of the fight. This is kind of when Jason and Freddy were kind of separated for a minute. She confronts Freddy, and she was kind of like, she was pretty badass here. She was I just lost it. Where'd it go? All right, yeah. So she confronts Freddy. She says he has butter knives for fingers. Wearing a stupid Christmas sweater. You're not scary at all, kind of thing. She's just berating Freddy, and it's a pretty funny scene. And she really kind of held her own,
Real quick, I think Bones might have, he might have had left. You might want to go ahead and make Hobbs or T Betty or somebody else another wrench.
Yeah, done.
Well,
all right.
Bones.
So let's see. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, but the interesting thing about all of this, even though she was like attacking Freddy, she still died by the hands of Jason.
Yeah,
because he like threw I think he throws a machete or something, and gets her. But like the really interesting thing is that most of the kills in this movie are Jason. Freddy only gets one kill in this movie, and that was Mark. Early when he slashed him up and did the Freddy's back. That's the only Freddy kill in this entire movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
I think people think this is a Freddy movie per se, only because he has one big advantage over Freddy. I mean, one advantage over Jason. And actually, this is why Freddy's such a beloved icon in a sense, because he has one advantage that Leatherface, Michael Myers, and 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 Jason has, and that is he talks.
Yeah.
He talks. He can vocalize. The other ones are all silent. So they're nothing. So Freddy can actually, he could do the one-liners, he could do the jokes, and people can relate to that because they can hear it. I
Right.
mean, yes, he's funny, whereas Michael Myers and Jason are more the boogeyman. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Jason. I mean, Freddy will make you laugh before he kills you.
right? Yeah,
You know, like like Cal just mentioned with the callback to Nightmare 4 on the screen. Yep. Exactly. And actually, that line. I remember at the movie theater when he said the dark meat line. Everybody like lost it. It was hilarious. Yeah. So yeah, so I just wanted to bring up the Kia scene because I always like that scene. I always thought it was really cool.
um,
So yeah,
so now there's just down to two. They're
Will
down,
and Lori,
huh?
Will and Lori.
Will and Laurie are the last two, and so while Jason and Freddy are fighting tooth and nail, they both they get both get pounded out into they hit the dock.
Yeah,
Both flying, they hit the dock and they start fighting on the dock, and it looks pretty brutal. It looks like maybe Freddy's getting a little bit of an advantage. He starts wailing away really good on Jason. I mean, he takes off his hand, basically. He takes off his fingers,
yeah,
and it's like and the scene where Jason he puts his hand up to his face and looks at his fingers are all gone. And you can see it's like, what the hell? Uh, so it looks like Freddy's on about ready to take care of this. Um, and then, but Lori and Will, what they've done is while those two guys are fighting to the death, they have managed to find some gas, and they have soaked the dock. They have
yeah.
soaked it, and so what they've done then, as they're fighting, they go ahead and they torch it. Now, this is the other scene I was mentioning about too, where this is a true stunt. This was not CGI. It was not dummies or anything else. It shows an explosion and it shows two men flying through the air. Both of them are on fire, or they're arcing through the air, and they land in the lake. Those are real stuntmen. Those are real stuntmen. Robert England says he was there for that. He watched that. He says, I can tell you that's exactly what happened. They were on fire and they got ejected into the lake. It's a badass effect, and one that's just, I hope they got paid a lot of money for it.
Me too. Me too.
That
Yeah.
is absolutely just nuts. And we're not talking like just like from here to like a boat length. We're talking like if you go watch the movie, seen the movie, you can see that they flew a very long way on fire to
Yeah.
land in the water. So so they blow them inside the water, and it looks like things are gonna, and this causes an explosion elsewhere, and it looks like everything is all said and done. It's like they're, you know, both of them got blown to smithereens, and both of them in the bottom of the lake or whatnot. But then we see that someone comes out of the water, and you want to take us home with that?
So Freddy is after um, what's her face, Lori. can't
That's
think
right.
can't think of names right now. And then all of a sudden, Jason uh, pops out of the water, even though he's afraid of water. Just saying. He pops out of water with Freddy's arm that he had chopped off. I mean, they beat the ever living crap out of each other, and so this limbs had the whole thing. So Jason pops up with the arm, with the gloved arm, and stabs Freddy through the back,
Yeah, that was badass.
which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, and then Lori grabs the machete and beheads Freddy, just like Pamela in the first movie of Friday the
Yeah.
13th. And yeah, and she sees Jason's mask kind of floating in the water. I thought that was kind of a cool effect too.
Yeah.
Um, And then we cut to the very last scene in the movie. It is now daytime, so it's reminiscent of the first Friday. It's now morning, the whole deal, and there's movement in Crystal Lake, and we slowly see, very slowly, see Jason start walking out of the water, very very slowly, and he's just coming. He's just he's all powerful looking and just and then all of a sudden he has something in his right hand, and he has Freddy's beheaded head in his right hand, as kind of as a victory, as a victory thing. I guess he's going to mount it, right?
Yeah.
So there, he's walking out.
He's got his own cabin. He's got his own cabin in the woods. Remember?
He does. So then we go to a nice close up of the beheaded Freddy head, and Freddy looks straight at the camera and winks.
Yeah, break the fourth wall.
And that's how Freddy vs. Jason ends.
Initially, what they were going to do, and I'm glad they didn't. The New Beginning, where Tommy Jarvis at the end of the night, at the end of the movie, he's in the hospital. They were going to do that with in this movie too. The original plan was to have Will consummate his relationship with the Virgin, being Lori, and then at the end of it, have Freddy's hand have his hand morph into Freddy's hand and glove. Not as they said, well, it's not so much like a son of Freddy, but it was just supposed to see that Freddy's evil still was prevalent. But luckily, someone said, we tried that before. It really sort of blew chow, and nobody really wanted us to do it. So let's not do that again. Yeah. Like a Predator the trophy, exactly. Star Wars.
Yeah, pretty much.
I saw this at the theater too in front of fans, and people were really jacked for it. I mean, they were. It just would have been, I'm not sure if this was, and initially they wanted to, especially when they saw the box office. The box office for this movie was by far the best. The budget was what, 30. They spent money on this movie.
They did spend a lot of money on this.
Spent $30 million on this movie. That's a lot of coin, a lot of money, and it made $116 million back. So that's and that's been re-released many times over. The home market's really good. Face it, I mean, Jason and Freddy are both making coin still. They still make a lot of money for a lot of people. So they wanted to bring back for a sequel to this movie. They actually wanted to bring in Ash from Evil Dead. I think they wanted to do that because that way we would actually have someone to root for. Because seriously, you're watching these guys fight, but you really can't root for either one at all. You can't sit there and say, "Yeah, I want Jason to win," or "I want Freddy to win." They're both stone cold killers. Just like, you're sitting there going like, okay, if it had been a weird Godzilla type dynamic where, some movies Godzilla came across as the bad Godzilla, and then sometimes Godzilla came back as a good Godzilla. So if Jason had come back pissed that he was disturbed and managed not to kill anybody, let Freddy do all the killing until the final fight, maybe, I wouldn't say redemption at all. That's way too much of a stretch. Mm-hmm. Who won?
So I want everybody to vote. Who do you think won this movie, Freddy or Jason? Who won the fight? Who won? Like, who do you think? Not who's your favorite. Who won?
Yeah. I thought Jason took care of business myself. I thought he really did.
I would say Jason. If I were to vote, I would say Jason won.
I mean, Freddy might have got the early hand on that, but once they came into the physical world, it was all Jason. It really was. He took the rebar through the body, but then he is snapping it off and he's using it back against Freddy. It's like you think that would have pinned him silly, but it didn't. And even when he's fighting in Freddy's world, he got hit by that huge bell. he still was able to get up and off that. He's still able to shake that off. He shook off Freddy's attacks a lot better than Freddy shook his off. Freddy was faster, but that could have been because Jason wasn't fully regenerated yet. Yeah, I thought Jason won the fight. But Freddy won the verbal. I mean, as far as that goes, he won the battle of the one-liners.
Well, yeah, sure, absolutely. All right, let's see what everybody says here. All right, looks like our boy won.
Yeah,
looks like our boy 75%. Yeah. I mean, really, we all won because the movie was fun and
it won and it made money. And the only thing I couldn't understand is that it mentioned that it got critically, as far as the critics didn't like it. I'm like, for one thing, to me, I'm not being facetious. I'm not being mean or anything else. But if you're a critic, if you're a film critic, why are you reviewing this movie? This is not a movie to be reviewed. This is a movie that fans will just go. It's bulletproof. This movie is bulletproof. It's like everybody loves this one. This is one of the most, as far as the most popular of the Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. This is always going to be in everybody's top 3. It always is. I mean, when we do our rankings, I'm sure when we ask people what name your 3. I would like to do a Freddy before I did a big ranking. But I mean, as far as the Friday the 13th movies go, I definitely see maybe this would be top 5. I think the first 4 probably get maybe vote more votes, but it's just a fun movie. This is just fun. It's fantasy. It's not to be taken seriously. It's so someone's sitting there going, well, yeah, but Freddy would have won. Okay, maybe so, but that's not reason to go to your newspaper or your internet site and lay into this movie. That's not what this movie is about. This movie is for the fans. This is what the fans have been looking for, forever. Hell, even before the fans were rooting for wanting this, New Line wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Paramount and New Line, they wanted to do a crossover before the fans did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
because they knew it would bring the money for sure.
Right. With every movie, that's one thing. I mean, I know Nightmare on Elm Street made more money than Jason. I mean, his movies did, but of course, that's a given considering that. Again, I mean, if you put out a, I know they did the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, but I'm not sure how much money that did not make that it should have made. But I think Halloween may be the biggest franchise, as far as making money goes. But I think where was I going with that? I just think that the movies were. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. The reboot, yeah. I just think that the movies, in being handled right, I think they're all going to make money. They're all going to make money. They're all going to make everybody happy. You can't criticize them. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of anybody's time to sit here and actually write a serious film critique on these movies. These movies are made for for us, for fans. As fans want to go out there and write criticisms or speak criticisms, that's one thing. But to sit there and actually have a real, like Siskel and Ebert, well, we gave this movie the thumbs down. Dude, what are you watching this shit for? You try to tell me there's not enough good movies out there that you have to come here to sit there and say, yeah, this movie didn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
why bother?
Dude, this isn't for you.
No, not at all.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
Yeah. So I heard that the critics didn't like this movie. I'm going like, what's not to like? Maybe you didn't like the CGI, or maybe you thought some of the plot holes were a little bit big. Okay, maybe so. But again, it's a horror movie. It's fun. I mean, even the points that I made, I'm speaking strictly as a fan. I'm not speaking as a critic. As a fan, I like to see some of those holes fixed. I like to sit there. I like to sit there and say, well, If this movie took place after Jason Goes to Hell, I want to know how he was able to regenerate his body to where it was when Freddy found him. I want to know that, because to me that explains, it helps me explain that, it helps me comprehend the character a little bit more, to understand him a little bit more. Because I mean, the one thing I will say in doing this deep dive, the first 4 movies, I have never looked at Friday the 13th like that before. The first 4 movies, thinking him as a human being with emotions and thoughts and reasoning and intelligence, I've never done that before.
Yeah, me neither.
And it really made
the series.
Yeah, it made the series really. It really made for me. It made the series really stand out a lot more.
Jennifer's asking why the coffee.
Oh, okay. So there's a line in the movie where one of the characters says to Lori, he goes up to her and says, "Coffee. Better become friends with it."
So bam.
Yeah, that's a line from the movie. It was hilarious.
I want to say it was Mark. I think Mark said that.
The guy who got killed with Freddy. Freddy killed. Yep.
Yeah.
This coffee becomes friends with it.
Yep.
Coffee is our friend, and coffee is life. Folgers coffee. Yeah. Yeah, there was no product placements here. I didn't see any product placement.
No, nothing that I really saw.
No, not at all.
Pay attention to, at least.
So yeah. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that wouldn't shock me, Echo. That wouldn't shock me at all. Mm-mm. But yeah. So I mean, overall, super fun watch. This is definitely a highlight of the series for me. And of course, adding Freddy into it is just, just makes it even that much better.
If you guys have a physical copy of this, if you have the Screen Factory edition of the Blu-ray, from the big massive box set they did, they do have a ton of features on this, and one of the features is a commentary with Ken Kissinger, Ronnie Yu, the director, and Robert Englund. They do the commentary on this. Highly recommend getting this edition right here. It's so much fun. It's not a new one. It's not a new commentary. This was done years ago.
Yeah, the old one has it too.
Huh?
Yeah, the old one does have it too.
Okay, so this is still relevant though. I mean, it's timeless. And one thing you'll get a kick out of is how much joy there was in Robert Englund's voice. He really enjoyed making this movie and doing this for the fans. And it's a really great commentary. A lot of laughs. Robert Englund has so much respect for everybody he's in. Kind words for everybody. He's a fan. When I heard his commentary, the first thing that came to my mind was he's not talking technical stuff. He's just talking like a fan. He's talking like one of us.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how old he was when he made this, but as far as I could tell, he was like 15 or 16, and this is like his first horror film.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that.
Let's see.
So yeah, we someone mentioned earlier we should mention John Ritter's son, Jason Ritter.
Go ahead and do that. I'm going to step away for a minute.
Who plays Will in the movie, and this is Jason right here. Yeah, very talented actor. He was on quite a few things around this time. He was on Joan of Arcadia, with the guy that plays Linderman, Christopher Marquette. Yeah, so this is a little reunion for them, because I don't know if it had gotten canceled by then. I think it did. I don't remember. Really cool little show. So yeah. So what did you guys think of Freddy vs. Jason? Does this one rank high up on your list of Jason movies? I'm just curious to know, because I do know a lot of people that don't care for this movie. I mean, I guess I get it, but I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's just a fun movie. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not. It's definitely not the worst. It's definitely It's definitely no Jason Takes Manhattan, or it's but yeah. All right. Let's see what it said. Upper middle. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. That's about very high. Very high. Oh, T. Betty's favorite. There you go. All right. All right. Top five. Yeah. I definitely would say easily top five for me. Maybe even top three. I feel it could have been better. It's a good movie, but it could have been. Well, yeah. There's definitely some issues with it, but again, it's just a fun movie. And I know some people were ultimately disappointed in it, but I don't know. I always dug it. I dug it from the first time I saw it. So I don't know.
I'm with you, Star Lord. This ranks very high for me. As far as being like a top five, I probably, in all honesty, I probably would have to go. That would be tough because it's like I want to go with
But
like.
don't tell us yet because we still have a ranking show to do.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And speaking of that, we still got to get through one more, but I have to get through one more.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I have to. I have to get through the remake, the reboot, Friday the 13th, the reboot.
Yeah, the reboot.
Now I'm a little surprised by the heat this got because the director of this movie is Marcus Nispel, and he actually is a very fine director. I have a couple of his films, including Pathfinders, which was really, really good. And so I was really surprised to initially hear all the heat about this movie. But when people were doing the Friday the 13th, they were doing, a lot of people were in the community were doing, talking about Friday the 13th. I did see a lot of love for this movie. I did not expect that. I was like, there's a lot of people that were sitting there going like, it's not as bad as people think it is. And I don't understand the hate. So I'm actually very curious to see how this goes. The cast is really outstanding. You got Jared Palicki from Supernatural, Danielle Panabaker. The Panabaker sisters have been they're up to fanboy movies and TV shows up to their elbows. They're staples. The Panabaker sisters. It also has Aaron Yule, Amanda Rigetti, Travis Van Winkle, and Derek Means as Jason. So I'm looking forward to this. Before I was like, this is gonna be bad because Al's like he's dropping batshit on it. So I was a little nervous, but I'm gonna go ahead and watch this next week. I'll probably grab a co-host and a co-pilot, and and we'll go ahead and watch this next week here on my channel.
Yes, I will be unavailable, unfortunately. So otherwise, I would take part as well. Even though I don't care for the reboot personally, but
Casey's saying he likes to reboot more than 5 to 8, so that might be it. Maybe I'll have to draft the mighty Casey to come up here, and him and I can chop it up.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it, and probably after the fact. But yeah, got another a-hole here.
Nothing. That's my third one. 2 more, I'll be an ace.
Hey, all right.
Oh no, Hobbs Hoare came in and crushed it. Yep. Let's give it up for Hobbs Hoare.
You know my tricks, Cal. You know my tricks.
You know Hobbs. He's got that Joe Burrow arm. Bing. That's right.
There you go. That's right. Louisiana boy. That's right.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then again, next week we got. We could do the announcement now that we're almost done. So yeah, let's do the announcement. So next week we're going to do the Friday the 13th reboot, and then we're going to do our ranking show, and then we're doing American Ninja and American Ninja 2, but that we're not done with Friday the 13th. On July 3rd, here on Al's channel, we'll be talking to Adam Marcus.
The director of Jason Goes to Hell.
Right. So he will be here with us as our special guest to talk about, and we'll also be joined by our good friend, Hey Internet, it's Eric. He'll be joining us on the panel as well for that show, because he is the most adamant fan I know of that movie. He loves that movie more than anybody else I know.
Yep.
So he'll be joining us on panel for that interview with Adam Marcus on July 3rd. So mark your calendars for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, folks. That's gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be that'll be our first guest that we've had on the show.
Yep.
So I can't wait for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
That's I am so looking forward to that. That's gonna be epic.
Hobbs is still has some muscles and he's donut powered. Hell yeah, that's what I always knew that though. Well, we still got a few minutes to talk real quick before you wrap it up. What do you got going on your channel, Al? Got anything going on?
This week I have 2 more movie reviews coming out. Tubi Tuesday will be back. It is a recorded one. I'm not live quite yet. And I'm going to be covering Demon Wind for Tubi Tuesday, the 1990 cult classic. It's a doozy, so definitely check that out. It's going to drop at 10 o'clock like normal on Tuesday, and then I'm also going to drop a Dollar Tree Theater. We'll be back this week, where I'm going to cover the movie The Barge People.
Oh, you're covering that? Oh, I can't wait for that.
Barge People, baby.
Oh, okay. Without giving it away, would you watch it again?
The Barge People.
I heard that. I've heard mixed. I've heard that. Okay, no, I haven't. I've only heard. I haven't heard anybody really like really jump all over it. I know people were saying some of the costumes were really bad. Like you could see the with a rubber mask, you could see that. But I don't care. I got a copy of that too. It's a Shudder exclusive, so I got I picked it up as well.
Yeah. Sean says he's coming in for the Friday remake.
Oh, Sean's okay. Let's see.
By the way, I want to make sure you saw that.
Oh no, where did? Okay, let me go up there and see it.
All right, let's see. Demon Wind has to be better than Demon Hole, right? You would think, Casey.
John, you want to come up? You want to come up for next week? Hell yeah, you're on. You're on. So Sean and maybe Mighty Casey. Sean for sure. Hell yeah, man. We haven't done a show together in a year, over a year.
There you go. Old games getting back together.
That's old school midnight hour right there, baby.
There you go. Boom.
And then we'll bring in new blood with the new blood I was telling you about.
Jason, the new blood, yeah.
Casey, we'll bring in Mighty Casey. Yeah, that'll be fun. Hell yeah, that'll be tight. So yeah, you know what? Did you see what I got this week from speaking of Mighty Casey? Did you see what I got this week? So I just happen to have them right here. So thanks to Mighty Casey here, I completed the Evil Dead series. So he sent me a copy of Army of Darkness.
Nice.
So whenever you want to go and do a deep dive in Army of Darkness or Evil Dead, I'm ready and armed and willing. And
do you have the reboot?
I had the reboot.
All right.
I have everything. I have 1, 2, 3. I have the TV series and I have the reboot. There
you go. Bam. You got it all.
That's right. And then he sent me this awesome one right here. This is like one of my favorite movies. This is one of those guilty pleasures. Dr. Mordred from Full Moon.
That movie's awesome.
This movie is so awesome.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk about this movie. We're gonna talk about that. That might be mine. That might actually be.
I'm down for that one. I'm definitely down for that one. Yeah,
that has to. You know what? The society has to cover this movie.
Agreed.
In fact, I'm going to tell you the two movies we can cover. We can cover this movie, and I'll tell you the other one we'll cover off camera because we'll need to have two for that show. I don't think we can. I don't. As much as I love Jeffrey Combs that I do, I don't think I can stretch 2 hours out of this. I mean, we're good, but I don't think we're that good. I'm going to let Hobbs shoot that down because Hobbs is on fire right now. Bam! Look at that.
Oh, Vanessa.
Oh, your wife got that one. Holy shit!
Bam!
Fire! Straight fire. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we want everybody to go around and drop hashtags, as many as you can, of Stubbs Train. So I got real quick for on my channel.
And then we'll wrap it up.
Yep. On my channel on Tuesday, I got for Cheetah's Choice for Dollar Tree Theater. I got people voted for Cheetah's Choice, so I reviewed Rondo and Bob. It's a story about Rondo Hatton from he was the character actor who's the Rondo Awards is named after, and
I want to see that. I definitely want to see that.
And I got and Robert Burns. He was Bob Burns. He was the set designer for The Howling, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for Reanimator, Hills Have Eyes, The Hills Have Eyes. And he was a tremendous fan of Rondo Hatton, and he went around the country finding out about everything he could about Rondo. And in the movies is it basically is just showing their lives parallel to each other. There's a lot of similarities. You know, there's some similarities and some not, but it's a really good movie, real good. And it was directed by Joel O'Connell, and on next Friday at 3:30 on my channel, I'll be interviewing Joel O'Connell, and I'll be joined by special co-host Mr. Flickster, who is a new voice in our community, and he's going to come up with me, and we're going to talk to Joel O'Connell on Friday on the 27th. Let's see. Casey says spent his money on Paladin versus Ouija Shark, so I have to crowdfund. Right. You know what? You should sell one of your SRS movies, Casey. That's all you get your money back right there.
Speaking of SRS, I will eventually have a review coming of an SRS movie that I have. I just haven't done it yet.
Oh my gosh, I haven't yet to do an SRS movie. I still have yet.
And I will also have a special guest for that review.
Okay. Yeah, and we got something. We can't tell it right now, but we will tell toward the middle of June. We also have our first collaboration coming up next month. Mm-hmm. We'll be collaborating with 2 other channels. We got something cooking up, and I think it'd be right up everybody's alley, and I'm looking forward to that too. But more on that later. We gotta leave them something.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to American Ninja.
Yeah, those are going to be fun. I haven't watched those in a while, but yeah, those are fun.
Those movies are going to be on Pluto, I think he's mentioned, right?
They're on Pluto TV, yep, for free, so everybody can watch it.
Holy cow, man! YouTube is off. It's out of control tonight. Every single time someone says something. What happened? Oh, okay. Well, it seems like every time someone says something, it's like it's holding it for review. People are making just normal talk, and everything's being held for review by YouTube.
Yeah, it happens.
I saw that happen to the midnight hour last week. That they came through and they wouldn't let Katie post the show, and it was just a glitch by YouTube. It's a glitch. Yep. It wasn't anything anybody did wrong.
Crazy.
So holy. Okay, let's just.
All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and end this.
Yeah, this we're getting hit by these bots too much. All
All right,
right,
guys.
so yep, thanks for coming out. We will talk at you guys soon. Next week we will be on my channel along with Sean Blue Digital and hopefully Mighty Casey, and we will talk about Friday the 13th, the reboot, the remake. All right, everybody, thanks so much for coming out. We will see you next week. Peace.
So.